What do you think about the messy divorce that's going on between Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas? In this video, we're counting down the top 10 celebrities now speaking out against Joe Jonas. Number 10, Sophie Turner. As we know, the Game of Thrones actress is currently going through a bitter divorce and custody battle with her husband of 4 years, Joe Jonas. In court documents, she admitted that she was blindsided by his decision to divorce. She said the breakdown of their marriage happened very suddenly after an argument that they had on August 15th. In fact, it was so unexpected that she said she learned about their split from the media at the same exact time as the rest of the world. Now, she's demanding that their 2 children be returned to England. The complaint against Joe calls for the immediate return of their children wrongfully removed. She claims that Joe agreed to declare England their forever home in conversations that took place over Christmas in 2022, while they were preparing for the year ahead. She said that after they sold their Miami home, they were in the process of buying a home in the English countryside in April. But months later, after they split, she once again brought up this plan, and at that point, Joe no longer agreed to it. In fact, he had a complete change of heart. And since he filed for divorce in Florida, that basically ensured that the kids could not leave the state while the proceedings were ongoing. So he has pretty much put a stop to all her plans. Number 9, Taylor Swift. Just hours after news broke that Sophie had filed a bombshell lawsuit against her ex and accused him of abducting their children, she was seen hanging out with Taylor Swift. The two of them stepped out for a girls' night in New York City on Tuesday. They were linking arms, walking through the streets as they grabbed dinner at Via Carrota. They were seen hanging out again recently and leaving a New York hotel with a famous rooftop and restaurant bar. So the fact that they went out together twice in a week has fans speculating about Taylor's involvement in Sophie and Joe's divorce. Because as we all know, Joe and Taylor used to date back in the day, and that relationship really left a bad taste in her mouth. Apparently, he wasn't a great boyfriend and he broke up with her over the phone, on a call that only lasted 27 seconds. After the breakup, Taylor openly criticized Joe in her music, especially in her song called Mr. Perfectly Fine. And now that Sophie is the one parting ways with him, Taylor is back in the picture and seems to be very supportive of their breakup. In this case, it's crystal clear that she's on Sophie's side, which is a good thing too, because this divorce is just getting messier and messier. Number 8, Emily Ratajkowski. The model showed some subtle support for Sophie in a video that she posted to TikTok. As per usual, she had an amazing take on this whole situation and the way in which a lot of women have to deal with similar issues when going through divorce. While she didn't directly name Sophie in the video, she clearly references their split and says, "So it seems that a lot of young ladies are getting divorced before they turn 30. As someone who got married at 26 who has been separated for a little over a year at 32, I have to tell you, I don't think there's anything better." Emily went on to say that there is nothing better than being in your 30s, still being hot, maybe having a bit of your own money, figuring out what you want to do with your life, and having tried that married fantasy of marriage and kids, then realizing that, hey, maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be. She explained that the best part of this is the fact that you've still got your whole life ahead of you. Now, obviously, Emily is speaking from experience here, considering that she divorced Sebastian Bear McLeod after 4 years of marriage last year, and that was extremely messy as well. Number 7, Bethenny Frankel. The reality star took to TikTok to reveal that she was cooking on the divorce between Sophie and Joe. In fact, she just referred to him as one of the Jonas guys. And thankfully, Bethenny seemed to show some support for Sophie as well. In fact, she claimed that Nick and Joe both raised their stocks by getting married to Sophie and Priyanka Chopra. So really, they should have been thankful that they were able to marry these beautiful women in the first place. On the topic of divorce, she wanted to know who was handling Joe's publicity and said that it seemed like they were trying to stay ahead of any bad press. Bethenny called the tactic kill or be killed, implying that they were trying to control the narrative so he came out on top. This was a reference to all the news stories that were going around painting Sophie in a negative light, especially the ones saying that she wanted to party more while he wanted to stay home and had their children with him while on tour. Quote, his PR team definitely said, "We know this is coming and we've got to spin this thing. We've got to try and control the media." Her team probably was just not teaming, and now it's a boomerang and it seems like it's backfiring. She ended the video by saying, "Do not underestimate the intelligence and instincts of women." Number 6, The View. During a recent episode of the talk show, the host commented on the divorce and showed support to Sophie, Joe, and their children. But they did take a major issue with the way that the media has been spinning the story. Joy Behar questioned if the portrayal of him taking care of their children while she parties was sexist. A lot of the co-hosts agreed that it was a poor portrayal of Sophie. Sarah Haynes said, "I think the spin of this that bothers me is, she's working, he's working, these weren't their new careers. They met met on these terms. She's at a wrap party for a show that she did. We have wrap parties here, you celebrate at the end. So that isn't just a bar that she's hanging out at. She happens to be with her colleagues at a bar celebrating the end of the series. Sunny Hostin agreed and said that she didn't like the story going around that Joe is the only one taking care of the kids. She said, "I'm sorry, is this the Immaculate Conception? They're his freaking kids too. So what if he's taking care of the kids? Does he get a gold star?" She also said that Sophie needs that party since she was so young when she got married and became a mother. Number 5, Jessica Chastain. The actress made it abundantly clear that she was siding with Sophie in the divorce, considering that Sophie was her co-star in the X-Men spin-off called Dark Phoenix. She took to Twitter last week and retweeted a post from writer and activist Roxane Gay. Roxane wrote, "The way Joe Jonas miscalculated his popularity with his transparent attempts at PR manipulation, particularly when the North remembers, is fascinating. And holding the children's passports to keep them from their mother, bruh, the thing is, these are not people I know or follow. I just read the news. He has handled this so badly now that I'm paying attention." What's hilarious about that post is that it dives into all the chaos of the divorce and the way that Joe is very clearly the one acting badly. And out of the two of them, he's the one that's been the loudest when speaking about what's going on. He was also the first one to be spotted without his wedding ring on as far back as August 11th when he was photographed picking up an iced coffee in New York City. And now it seems like he's doing everything in his power to try and destroy Sophie's reputation and paint her as a bad mother. Number 4, Ashley Greene. Now that Joe is going through a nasty divorce, a lot of fans have been digging up some of his more problematic moments over the years, and one of them is easily how horribly he treated his former girlfriend, actress Ashley Greene. In 2016, he got incredibly candid during a celebrity Reddit AMA, and he answered everything from the size of his you-know-what to how he lost his virginity. But not everyone was happy with his responses. Shortly after he revealed that he lost his V-card to the Twilight star, it ignited a heated feud between the two of them. He didn't even change her name when telling the story. He wrote, "I lost my virginity to this girl named Ashley. You can probably just Google it. It's pretty easy to figure out. I dated a girl named Ashley, so just Google it to figure out which Ashley that is." He then talked about how he trashed his roommate's room while hooking up with her. Unsurprisingly, that story went viral very quickly and it reached Ashley in a matter of days. She then posted a cryptic response on Instagram that read, "Class is timeless," basically saying that he was a jerk to expose her like that on the internet. Number 3, Diplo. The producer who live streamed Joe and Sophie's wedding in 2019 sent love to everyone involved in the divorce. He simply wrote, "I wish them all love," which kind of made it clear that he didn't really want to take sides. But the thing is, he has a bit of a rocky relationship with Joe Jonas, and it's been rumored that they're not exactly the best of friends now. So a few months ago, Joe was strapped in for a lie detector test as a part of Vanity Fair's YouTube series, and some of his answers were kinda crazy. During the test, he admitted to being annoyed at Diplo for live streaming his wedding. Earlier that year, he had actually said that Diplo ruined his wedding by sharing it for the world to see. The interview then got a little uncomfortable when he was asked about being on the dating app Raya, which he admitted to and also said that he slid into 10 women's DMs. So it was kind of a tense conversation to say the least, but it did reveal a lot of interesting information about how he really feels. There's no saying who Diplo really supports in this divorce, but like many celebrities, he's probably hesitant to make any real public comments about it. Number 2, the fans. So over the last few days, more and more fans have been turning against Joe Jonas, and that's because the more they find out about him, the less they tend to like him. In the latest court documents, Sophie detailed all the places that the kids have been staying over the past year, and judging from the extensive list, before they relocated to England, they didn't stay in one place for more than 4 weeks. This also meant that Sophie gave birth to their second child and then spent her first year postpartum constantly moving around, from one rental home to another rental home, which sounds like a recipe for disaster. Under a photo of the list, one person wrote, "This whole thing makes me angry. I can't believe he had the gall to file in Florida without telling her and then lie about it, and he absolutely lied about that because she would have filed in the UK first if she had known. Keeping those babies away from their home and their mum is nasty." So people are really picking up on what is happening here, and the more they find out about their marriage, the worse it seems to get. And coming in at number 1, Nick and Kevin Jonas. Joe returned to the stage with his brothers Nick and Kevin for a Jonas Brothers performance recently, and he received very public support from them. Photos and videos from the event showed that the group of them shared a hug while on stage. Nick took it one step further and referred to Joe as his favorite person person in the entire world. If you are unaware, the Joe Bros were performing in Casa Grande, Arizona, where Joe was actually born. He also gave Joe a hug after he performed the song Hesitate, which he described as a love song for Sophie. And the crazy thing is, this performance went down on the exact day that the news of the lawsuit broke. While we can assume that Nick and Kevin are on Team Jonas in this situation, divorces like this are often very complicated and there isn't always one person to blame. So it's more than likely that the Joe Bros have shown their support for Sophie in this tough time in their lives. What do you guys think about this video? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.